Can we have it all? Yes, but you have to redefine or define with more clarity what that means. I think having it all is success in moderation. It's being able to identify in your life, like you have all these balls in the air, which ones are plastic, which ones are glass. I just think it's just really hard being a woman. I think it falls on us, and some of it is put on, some is society, some is ourselves, but it falls on us to keep everything afloat, to have that balance. I have a whole village, and I think that's what people need to do. Build your village, trust your village, use your village, be in somebody else's village.
Erika Ribeiro Ituassu is a Brazilian-American Chicagoan. She's a dedicated mom and a strategic legal mind who believes in the power of balancing a high-impact career with a rich personal life. A graduate of Northwestern University Pritzker School of Law, Erika's journey has taken her from the law firms and halls of the Chicago Mayor's Office and the Department of Aviation to her current role as senior corporate counsel at Workday. While her professional resume reflects an expertise in technology and global transactions, Erika is most defined by her multicultural heritage and the daily juggling act of being a career-driven woman and a parent. She brings a unique, grounded perspective to conversations about identity, motherhood, and the art of navigating life's many transitions with grit and grace. Joining us at the Adults Table today is Erika Ribeiro Ituassu. Erika, what are you bringing to the table today?
What am I bringing to the table today? I would love to talk about whether can we, and I think by we I really mean women, can we have it all? I think it's something that I've been thinking a lot about in my now 40s. I think there's something about you turn 40 and you're like trying to figure out life and are you doing everything right? And there's just so much between kids, and particularly I'm a single mom, so there's like kids and dealing with co-parenting and being a good friend and having a job that I often feel like I'm failing. So I've been working on, I'm not failing, I'm balancing it. And what does that mean? So yeah.
I like when this conversation comes from women that are very successful, women that have done a lot in life, like yourself. And it feels like, at least for me growing up, that's something that I heard that in one hand was important because you want to hear like, you can do it all, you can have it all. But I've also started to think more about it. For you, was there a moment that you did believe that you could have it all, or how has that changed?
So it's funny, I never thought that I couldn't have it all. I think I redefined what that meant. I think at certain points I felt like, I know I can, so I'm failing because I'm not there. And then I redefined, like, no, it's not that I'm not failing. I do have it all now. It's just, what does that mean? I think, can we have it all? Yes, but you have to redefine or define with more clarity what that means, right? I think having it all is success in moderation. It's being able to identify in your life, like you have all these balls in the air, which ones are plastic, which ones are glass? Like which ones can you, like you have to keep going? Which ones can you put it down for a little bit? And I think once I figured that out, and again, it's still, there are days I'm like, oh my God, I'm failing at whatever. And then I have to have a conscious talk with myself. Like, no, you're not. You're just doing all these things. And look, you kept everything afloat. So when your question, like, when did I always thought I could have it. I thought I was failing throughout. And then I realized that I'm not. I'm actually doing a really good job at it. It's just, what does that mean? I don't think we have the right definition of having it all.
How do you define what that means?
I think it's success in moderation. I think it's balance. So the way we look at it, I think when we talk about balance, we talk about it as like a destination. We talk about it as in like, it's a permanent state of being. I'm gonna get to this place where I have balance. And it's not about balance as a noun, it's about balance as a verb. Like it's balancing. Like you are in that balance beam and you're making minor adjustments. So you're always there. You're wobbling, but you're there. And that to me is having it all and balancing it all. It's not about staying perfectly still, which I think is what we think about, right? It's, I heard this phrase, which I think is perfect. It's, what is it called? Strategic neglect, which is, it's going back to the different balls in the air. It's like, what at this point can I put to the side and it's okay? And it's not a failure, it's just like that doesn't need my full attention right now or my attention at all. And what do I need to focus on now? So I'm constantly asking myself that question, and that goes from weekly, monthly, daily, hourly. It's like, what do I need to do next? Like my life is very planned and like everything goes on a calendar. I have multiple alarms so I can help myself keep everything afloat. So that to me is how I define it, is keep everything afloat. You are a mom, you are a career person, you are a friend, and you're good at all of it. You're not perfect, and your kids don't need you to be perfect. Anybody else expects you to be perfect, like they're probably not a good friend. So it's letting go of that perfection and just, it's okay with the balance of it all.
How do you feel okay at not giving something your full attention and not falling for this trap of feeling like you're failing? You just remind yourself,
Yeah. Honestly, I hate this answer, but I think with age, like I think I'm just now coming, and it's funny because I'm 42 and I feel like I'm 25. I'm hanging out with you. It's like, oh, we're the same age. We're 100% not, but my mind feels that way. But there is a lot of wisdom that I think I've acquired, and there's a certain amount of stillness that you're okay with when you get older. So I think the whole thing about having it all too is looking at your life in different seasons. So when you are in your 20s, and I mean, I was like, in my teens, I was a good student. I got straight A's, and I had all these goals, and then I want to be at the top of whatever career I'm going to be. And you always want to keep advancing and getting better, getting promoted. And I think a lot of your 20s is about that, figuring out who you are, building your career, having everything come together. And then your 30s, you start getting a little bit like, oh, now there's maybe a family that I'm building, and how do I do that? And I'm going to be an amazing mom and still amazing in my career. And I don't know if that happens for everybody, but for me, at one point, something kind of clicked of, oh, I am not going to be perfect at everything. Like that doesn't exist, but I'm going to be really good I'm going to be good enough at all these different things. And it does mean for me right now, career advancement is not on top of my list, which if you asked me a few years ago, I never thought I would say that. But like right now, I am very fine with a job that pays me well, so I can do the things I need to do and live my life. I'm going to do my job well, but I am not going to live for my job, and I need flexibility, and that is my priority right now. And I think it will change once my kids get older, and different life circumstances. I'll probably be more career focused again. But right now, it's being okay with, this is the season of my life that I'm in, and it's actually pretty great too. I don't miss being super career driven. And it's not that I don't take my career seriously. I do it. I take my job very seriously, and I want to do a good job, but it's not my everything anymore. So I think when your priorities shift and you get a little older, and you have things that happen to you in life, and your priorities just change.
Do you feel like, I like the idea of seeing lives as seasons, and at least to me, now that I'm in my 30s, I think some of this process is starting to happen, where I feel like I've always connected my identity to my career.
Yeah.
Very much. I've always wanted to be, very successful. So the moment that started to be challenged for me, I really started to struggle with my definition of myself. Do you think that, did you go through that internally at any point? And in your 40s, do you feel like your identity maybe is more solid in, overall, that you don't need that to that extent anymore?
That's such a good question. I mean, I think I've been struggling with my identity for a long time, and I don't know if I'm assuming you relate to this, to just being an immigrant. Like our identity changes completely. Like I am American, but to Americans, I'm not American enough. And I'm Brazilian, but to Brazilians, I'm too American.
Because how long have you been here, just so too?
26 years. I've been here for a very long time, and I still feel I'm in between. I think I'm embraced by both, but also rejected by both. So I think when you are an immigrant, you're always struggling with your identity. And I think, to go from, and it goes for other parts of your life. So as a mom, I was like, I'm such a mom. I'm going to be a great mom. I always want to have kids. And I love being a mom. Having kids is hard. There are days you're just like, wow, this is really hard. And I am not that mom that I thought I was going to be. That's an identity shift. And the same with the career. Like I'm this straight A student. I'm going to work really hard. I'm going to go to the best colleges, and I'm going to have the best career. And I was like, I kind of don't care today. Like, I just want to do my job and then be left alone. So I think you're always struggling with your identity. I think part of the wisdom of getting older is being okay that you're always struggling with your identity. I don't know if you ever find who you are in that sense. I think you got to go deeper. Like, who you are is always going to be the same, like your values. I do think that who I used to be when I was younger and now my values are the same. The things that I care about and what I care about in people are the same. I am really good about keeping friendships, particularly female friendships, but I have friends from since first grade. They're still my really, really good friends. Now, do I talk to them all the time? No. One, like most of them live in Brazil, one lives in France. And like there's a time difference and we have lives, but when we see each other, it's special and we're always there for each other. So I think identity is who you are inside. All the other stuff is noise and it's important, but you gotta be okay with it always shifting and like not knowing what it is and also being okay changing. Like even careers, like maybe sometimes you don't wanna, I've not changed careers, but changed within my career a lot, which also changed their identity. I went from being a law firm attorney to being in government, which is completely different than being in-house. And people look at you differently. Like a lot of my friends are attorneys and there are people that will treat you differently because you're not a law firm attorney and like, oh, you're not an attorney anymore, you're in government. So I think like I don't even think I'm that old, but being older, you go through all these times in your life where your identity shifts a lot and you got to go with it.
Yeah. In the beginning, you mentioned that you specified that as women, maybe we cannot have it all. Why as women? How is it different than men?
I just think it's just really hard being a woman. I think it just is. I think there's a lot of amazing men out there. I think it falls on us, and some of it is put on, some is society, some is ourselves, but it falls on us to keep everything afloat, to have that balance. So if you don't have a career, then you expect to do everything in the house. But then even if you have a career, I feel like women do more than their fair share, because if you don't, then you're not a good mom. And I think, particularly as a single mom, I think I've gotten to really take that to heart, where so much falls on me even when I don't have my kids. Like, who organizes it all? Who makes sure that everything is running? It's everything. So I learned to find a satisfaction in that rather than be resentful. Being like, yeah, I get to do it because I'm really good at it and I'm a badass, right? So, and I'm not saying I wake up like that, but that is a self-talk of like, yeah, look at me. I'm doing all these things and my kids are healthy and happy and everything's working out and they have the medication that they need and they're at the place they need to be and they have the clothes that they need and they are at the school that they need to be and they are doing their homework and they're studying because my son has a math homework and math test and we need to study together. So work's gonna be put to the side, but my work got done too. I'm driving a lot of satisfaction from that rather than resentment. It's the same as like, I get to go to Legoland with my kid. Do I want to spend a whole weekend? Like, no, roller coaster's not my thing, but I get to do it.
Yeah.
And I get to be here. I get to be healthy and do all these things for my kids because I can. And most of the time, you're going to see that from women more so than men.
Yeah. And the resentment part, I think, can be very tricky because sometimes it's hard not to resent. When you're overwhelmed, overworked, exhausted.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes women are not taken seriously because they know we can take it. They know we can handle it.
That's it. Yeah.
So, and I think women do a lot of things that are invisible.
Yeah.
A lot of things that people don't see. For example, you talked about organizing,
Oh,
right? Even when you don't have your kids,
yeah.
like you're still thinking of all of these things that sometimes I don't think men realize that we do it. And because they know we can handle it, it's like, okay.
And I don't have patience to wait for somebody else to do it. Like, I'm sorry, like, if I'm gonna have a fight with you about it, I'll just do it.
I hear you,
It's fine.
yes.
It's fine, I'll just do it. And again, I'm not trying to put down men, I just feel like we're just way more capable at all of those things. To a certain extent, we're kind of expected to. And I'm also not saying that I wake up, like, that I never have, like, that feeling of resentment. I do, and often. It's a lot of self-talk of being like, okay, but then you also get to do it. And it's also sometimes being okay with the resentment. Sometimes you are angry about it. Sometimes you are upset. And using your friends too. Because I think the other part of having it all is there's this idea, having it all comes with this idea of you have to do it all yourself and it has to be perfect. So, and it's two separate things and they're both not true. So having it all does not mean that I'm doing it all by myself. I don't do anything by myself. I have a whole village. And I think that's what people need to do. Build your village, trust your village, use your village, be in somebody else's village. Like I think, again, being a single mom, I need more help. There are certain things like I need to have a medical procedure. I needed somebody to pick me up. I have to ask a friend, and it's hard for me. And they're happy to do it, and I'll be happy to do it for them. But it's hard to be like, I need somebody to pick me up from this. And being okay with that, and like, that's what my village is there for, and I'll be there for them too when they need it, if they need it. So I think it's not doing it all by yourself. It's surrounding yourself with amazing people. Most of them are going to be women. They're going to be able to help you, and you're going to help them too. And then the whole idea of this having it all is like having everything perfect and like I'm the superwoman that can do it all. It's not. It's about being okay with it's good enough. And it's not perfect. And it's totally fine that it's not perfect. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be good enough and having all the things that matter, not just having everything. I think that figuring that out is what having it all means.
Yeah. How did you build your village? I mean, you've been here 26 years, so it's enough to, I guess, build a community, but being an immigrant, and how do you keep that community?
One, I have a lot of negative self-talk sometimes. I feel like I don't highlight the things that I do well often enough. But one of the things that I recognize I do really well is keep amazing people in my life. Like, if I meet you and I think like you're an amazing woman, like you're not leaving my orbit. I do a really good job at keeping, and I do have a great group of friends. Like we have our group of Brazilian friends that like that serve they fill a bucket in my life.
Yes.
And I have a group of friends that most of them have been people I've acquired through work, because I think that I think you need to bring your best self when you are at a job, and I don't believe in like being overly competitive. I don't believe in like, I try to lead with kindness when I'm at work, and like how do I want to be treated is how I want to treat people. And I've made a lot of really good friends in all the different jobs that I've had. I have all these group of friends, and some of them match, some of them don't. And I do a really good job of valuing those people. I check in, I wish happy birthdays. If I think of somebody, I send them a text. I'm like, hey, what are you? I was thinking of you, or like whatever it is. And again, it goes back to, what are you okay dropping sometimes? My friends in Brazil, sometimes I will not talk to them for a while, and it's okay. But then we catch up and we'll talk. We'll have like a 3-hour Zoom, and it's fine. Like it's those friends that understand where you are. At the same time, if they need you, you're there.
Yeah.
Like that's, so I don't know how, but it's more of like when I see somebody and I'm like, oh, you're not leaving. Like, I'm sorry. Like you thought this was gonna be like, you're done with this job and we're not gonna be friends again. That's never gonna happen. I really value my friendships. My friendships have become my family, particularly here in Chicago. So I wouldn't be anything without them right now. I couldn't do anything without all of them. Yeah. So yeah, you meet somebody that you think it's like a great person. And I also tend to be very lucky where all these amazing women keep showing up in my life, and I just don't know how. Like my kids just started a new school, and I met these new moms. I'm like, how are they so amazing? And now I'm making new friends that way.
Nice.
So, and I'm always very open to making new friends.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah. A lot of people are like, I have my friends, I'm good. I'm like, bring it on. Like the more the merrier. And I do somehow kind of find time for everybody. Not everybody spends as much time with me, and we don't get as much attention. But like, if I care about you, you're gonna know. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say the thing about being open, because I think at least for me, there are moments that I am more open, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, some people start showing up, and you're like, oh, how? But like, it's because you're open. Yeah. When you're not, then you just don't see it. That's
I know.
The thing. But the other thing that you talked about in one of your answers was asking for help.
Yes.
And I feel like sometimes as a strong woman, it's hard to ask for help.
Yes.
So what's your relationship with that, with being vulnerable sometimes and just saying, hey, I need some help over here?
I'm also a Gemini, so like we just we do everything ourselves. It took some therapy. right? And to keep needing it of like at this procedure, like I cannot, like it's like somebody has to come and be here to drive you, period. Or you, like, so that you have no choice. And then you see that it's like that discomfort of being like, hey, I'm so sorry, I care one of you, and like people are jumping. It's like, of course, I like happy to. And even though like, yeah, it may not be easy for them, they have other things going on, they're happy to the same way that I would.
Yeah.
Bend over backwards. So then you realize that like people like helping you. People want to feel valued. They want to feel needed. So it's okay. It's still a work in progress, and I don't think I'm great at. Like in this situation, I needed it, and I had to ask. I think that I need to get better at the times that like maybe I can use some help here, but I can maybe do it by myself.
Yeah, I feel like that's a very tricky line for
Yeah.
me, because I think that sometimes when we go into the resentment space
Yes.
and we're like, oh my gosh, I have to do everything myself. Sometimes you don't have to. Sometimes
No, you
we're
don't.
bringing that to ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes we're like, oh yeah, I'll just do it everything myself. I'd rather do this than ask. And sometimes people are, even men, or they're willing to show up and do what you ask, but sometimes we don't ask. And then there's another layer. I don't know if you have this, but I think a lot about this particular layer, which is sometimes we have a very hard time receiving.
Oh,
We feel uncomfortable.
Yes.
We feel like we feel like we have to give back right away, instantly, and in the same measure. Like sometimes we're uncomfortable receiving as well.
Very. I think it's more uncomfortable. That's to that point. It's much more uncomfortable for me to receive, including help, than to give help. I'm so happy. Like, that's the thing. I'm so happy if you ask me, like, can you do this for me? Absolutely. Like, if I can't, I'll tell you. But like, more likely than not, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the idea that like I have to, like, somebody has to do it for me is like, it's something I have to sit with. I mean, like, I do not like it. And that being said, I wouldn't be anything today if I hadn't gotten help from it, right? It goes from like my parents taking care of me and like my mom sending me here to like my American family that helped me. I've gotten help throughout my life. Like the idea that I think people sometimes they take it very personal. Is like, wow, I did it all by myself. It's like, that doesn't, to say that like you took help from somebody does not mean that you're not capable or takes away from your accomplishment.
Yes.
Just nobody can do it on their own. Even the people that like worked incredibly hard, there are some sort of privilege there or some sort of help along the way.
100%.
Whatever, like, right, there is a slight privilege there, and it does not take away from your accomplishment.
Yeah, it's like, yes, and?
Yes, it doesn't take away from you. I know you work really hard and you deserve it. You did not do it on your own completely. I'm sure somebody helped you along the way, even if it's a little bit. And you also have to check your privilege, because even like, as an immigrant, it's hard. Everything's a little bit harder, but I also like, immigrating from a country like Brazil, like it's a little easier. They're like, countries where women are oppressed. Yeah. That's not our background. And I had somebody that was able to, to pay for me to get here in an exchange program. Like there is all these different things that, yes, as an immigrant, I'm coming from behind compared to other people. And I work really, really hard to get where I am, but I also got so much help. I think you got to acknowledge both, how much work you're putting into it, but also what are the people around you and what's life even giving you?
Yeah, I like that. And not one thing doesn't exclude the other, or the importance. Yeah, I like that a lot. And then, as a woman, another thing that I think about is we think we can have it all when we can have it all at the same time, but I think there are other parts that influence our choices. And even, how do I explain this? I think, for example, I want to talk about hormones for a second.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? Because we have a whole...
Yeah, like, it happens.
We have to... And those are things that I feel like we don't think a lot about, in the sense of even like throughout the month, you're not going to be at your peak, at your productivity peak the whole month. So we have to think about, okay, or even your career or throughout your life, or because of this, I have up until a certain age to have kids. So if I do want to have kids, I'm going to have to look at my career in a different way when I get to this point, because there's, I just feel like there are other things. This world was not built necessarily for women, especially career-wise and things like that. And to believe that, it's the same as for men, or to believe that it's the same as, the whole time I'm able to have everything, it's frustrating. because it just feels like, again, you're failing or you're slowing down and you're the wrong one and then other women are not. So do you think that this part, as well as we age, as we get older, as we start thinking about having a family, as our hormones start to change, like, do you think that that has an impact as well in the idea of having it all?
That's such a good point. I don't think so, because again, we autocorrect as women. Like, we just do, right? Like, how many times have we like been at that time of the month and you're not feeling well, but like you still go to work? Like, I worked into the very end of both of my pregnancies, like to the point that I was having contractions the day before I had Olivia, and that, but it was like mild. And then I went to work. That was a Wednesday. Thursday morning, our CEO had emailed us about something, and I had just emailed my boss. It was 5 a.m. I was like, here's a picture. She was born. And she's like, yeah, Erika's out now for maternity leave. But it was, so no, I don't think it is, because again, we make it work.
Yeah.
Like, we just do. It becomes almost invisible work. It's like, that's where the village comes in. That's when you have your friends, particularly your girlfriends, that you're gonna go and rant about and like tell them how you're feeling. They're gonna share with you, and you figure it out. And it may be that at different times, like when you're having a baby or whatever it is that you're going through, that again, work takes a back seat.
Yeah.
But I still think for us, particularly when you're high achieving, it does not mean that, like, I mean, sorry, I'm going a different tangent, but Amy Poehler's podcast that I love so much, she said this, just like, I decided to do the podcast because I've seen men doing it, and they're not even, this is their 100%, this is awful. Like, this is me at 25%. Like, right? Like, that's the thing of just like me, and I think most women at their lowest, we're still doing a really good job, and it's okay. So, I know, I don't think it is, because for better or for worse, we autocorrect.
Yeah. And do you, when talking to other women and back to the village that you talked about, was it always clear for you that other women were going through the same thing? Or was there a time that you thought that everyone had it all figured out but yourself?
That's a really good point. No, I think, and this is my own thing that I have to work on. I think particularly with women, I trust really implicitly. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why I think I do have a really easy time making friends, particularly women friends, is because I think I lead with a lot of honesty, like too honest. Like, I kind of tell people anything. If I meet you and I like you, like, if I'm being hesitant, it's like, we're not gonna. But like, if I'm meeting you, like, this is good, I just keep talking. And I think because you're honest, people tend to be honest with you. And this is not something that I do consciously, but I've noticed, I was like, oh, wow, I kind of just met that woman. I was telling her my whole life story. Like,
but she probably opened up to you as well.
And they do, but I think because there was a certain amount, that person trusts me, so I can trust her. So I don't think I've ever had that. That being said, I think what makes me hesitate is that I do think that there have been times that like people have held back on talking about it. A lot of times, honestly, sometimes it's career, but sometimes like marriage, like they won't say, and then like when something happens, then you start figuring out, I had no idea.
Yeah.
And sometimes they don't want to say something because they don't want you to think anything bad about their husbands. And like, I think with your closest friends, that kind of goes away. But so no, I don't think I've had that, and I don't know if it's a generational thing. I think I'm a elder millennial, and it is like, I think it is different than it used to be. There are times that happens and people hold back a little bit. Eventually comes out.
Yeah, because I think it's now with social media and seeing people's lives all the time from the audience seat, right? So you don't know what's actually going on. But I think it's so easy today to think that you're a failure or you're letting too many balls drop when other people are not, other women are not. Maybe they're, you think they're 100% of their jobs, in their families, marriages, and everything. And I feel like sometimes it's easy for us, especially maybe the newer generation, to get really stuck in that idea and just think that, again, you're the wrong one or you're not doing life right.
Yeah.
So I do believe that the interaction with other friends, especially women,
Yeah.
and talking about these things can be very helpful to shift a little bit of the lens and the way that we see our own life and understand, it's normal. We're not going to be able to do everything every day at maximum, like 100%.
Yeah.
So it's something that I need to do more of, I feel like.
It's so cleansing to have to have a great, to trust your girlfriends, have a great conversation with them and be open with them is the best. It's like we're sharing experiences. Otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah. And you mentioned Superwoman, right? And this term that, again, it's sometimes I think it's nice because it makes us believe that we can occupy places that otherwise, if we didn't believe in that, we just wouldn't think that we could. But what do you think is the hidden cost at the end of the day of seeing yourself as a superwoman or spreading that message?
I mean, your health, your sanity, all of it. Like, you need to be able to be okay with yourself. Like, I think for women in particular, it's really hard. And I'll say for me, it's really hard to be like, I did a really good job today. Like, all these things went well today. I am consciously trying to do more of that. Of being like, look at me. I'm not a morning person. I get up, my kids got to school on time, and I'm back, and I've worked out, and it's like I'm in front of my computer, and I ate healthy. Like, this is great already. And if I missed a comma in that one email, that usually would haunt me for the rest of my life. I'm like, yeah, it's okay. Who cares? Like, it's a mental exercise every day. But the thing too is if you are so hard on yourself and you feel like you're failing and your mental is weak, your health is gonna. I really do think that your mind and your body are very connected. So it's a practice. Again, it's the same as the balance. It's not a destination. You're not gonna be one day be like, oh my God, I'm so well adjusted and I'm so kind to myself. But it's a practice every day to be trying to be kinder to myself. For example, I thought I parked 2 blocks away and there was parking right in front. I was like, oh, that's so silly. And I'm like, no, it's usually you live here, you know that it's hard to get parking here and you didn't want to be late. And quite frankly, you wouldn't have even gone that 1 block because you would have turned the other way. So I had to have this conscious talk with myself because I felt so oh my God, my first thought, that's so stupid. Why did you do that? I was like, and who cares? And it's a block. And but I have to tell, what would your best friend tell? What would you tell your best friend, right? So talking to yourself like you are your own best friend is, somebody said this and it was that is so helpful. But it's active and it's all the time because my first instinct is oh, that was horrible. Did you notice that?
And it's so small.
So small.
So silly.
Oh, the so small gets
it
blown out of proportion in your mind. And being able to be it's okay. And even the big things, it's okay.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I try to remind myself, what you've always been really good at is figuring things out and solving them. So even when there's a really big challenge, look back. How did you handle those big challenges? And historically, really well. So look at you. So what are you afraid of? But it's constant. It's an active talking. But I think the more you do it, the better you are mentally. And
yeah, I love that because I think when you think of yourself or you remind yourself that I've handled big challenges before, it also opens up space for you to make mistakes.
Yes.
Which you're going to make because we're human.
Yeah.
Or maybe we're not going to be perfect at something, but hey, guess what? It's all right. It's not that you need to be perfect. It's that you have the tools that you need, internal and external, to handle whatever comes.
Well, I think it's just not just, to your point, everybody makes mistakes. It's not about how many mistakes you make or what mistakes you make. It's about how do you handle when you make a mistake. And I think even with my friendships, I have this great group of girlfriends. We've hurt each other at different times. I've been hurtful to them and they've been hurtful to me, all unintentionally, but we all do it. But I think to me it's so important that if I hurt you and you're I did not love that, and then how do you react to that? And to me it's just I am so incredibly sorry and that will never happen again. That's the appropriate way to handle when you make a mistake with somebody that you love and because hopefully it's not intentional, you're not hurting your friends intentionally, but it happens. And the same goes for all other mistakes. You make a mistake, own it, particularly at work. Be you know what, I made this mistake. I'm really sorry that it happened. This is how I plan to fix it. It's not denying making the mistake or trying not. Of course, you try not to, but you're always going to. Yeah. How do you handle it? I think that tells me a lot about people. It's how they handle them. And do you learn from it too? Don't make the same mistake again, because it's well, what's the point?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And This also sometimes, I guess we're very afraid of making mistakes. We want to be perfect. And you also mentioned something that I firmly believe in and I truly take very close to my heart, which is you don't have to be perfect, or it doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be enough.
Yes, good enough. Yep.
Good enough. How do you differentiate these two things? Because to some people, enough is perfection.
Yeah.
And they cannot see the middle ground, or what good enough is. Good enough always needs to be perfect. How do you separate this?
I honestly think it comes with necessity of like when there is not enough hours in the day. Like, I don't know if there's another way to do it. And with a lot of mental work and being like, no, it's okay. Like, there are some things that need to be perfect. And again, I say perfect loosely because nothing's perfect, but like, it's what the amount, it's the good enough needs to be, this needs to be better than just good enough. If you have a really big presentation at work, like that you're gonna have to focus on, and it's never expect perfection out of yourself, because that's a fallacy. It's you're setting yourself up for failure. But it's like, I'm gonna focus on this. It's gonna be, is the best I can do. Maybe that's the way to do it. This is the best I can do. And you should always do the best you can do, but those are never gonna be the same. Like, the best I can do as a mom, maybe today is gonna be a little less than tomorrow, because today I have this big presentation at work. And the best I can do at work, maybe today is gonna be a little less. That's where the balancing comes in. So it's not about perfection. Like, do the best you can and be okay that those are levers. And the priority is always being a mom, for example, for me. But that does sometimes take a backseat, because I do have a job that like I need to pay for our bills. So, and that is important too. And my kids need to understand that. So it does mean that I'm gonna do the best I can. It does not mean that it's gonna be great or perfect all the time.
Yeah.
I think that's it, is best you can more so than perfect.
And considering that, again, you have limited time, you have other priorities. And I feel like sometimes too, when you consciously choose to let something take a back seat, right? You say, listen, right now in this particular day moment, I'm gonna consciously choose to not prioritize this. And you see that life goes on.
Yeah.
And
and it's okay.
And it's okay. I think you also train your brain to the experience of it. Listen, I didn't do this, and guess what? Nobody got hurt.
Yeah.
My kids are fine.
Yeah.
I still have my job.
Well, it takes patience too, right? That's the other thing. I'm not patient.
Oh, yeah.
And it's kind of like, oh, so this needs to wait. Okay. Right? But so I write it down. There's a release with that it's like I have to do this one thing. I know I need to do it. But I know I'm not gonna have time this week, so it's gonna go on the calendar for next week. And then I know it's written down, so it's safe. There's the safe space for it. You figure out how to cope with all the different ways that we are all have our ways of thinking. But impatience is a big one for me.
Yeah.
And you wanna do it all, you wanna do it all at the same time and then be done. It's like, nope, it's not gonna happen. And I do think it comes a little bit easier out of necessity as you get older, and as there's just more. And it's literally impossible. It's just, you can't. And then you're like, well, either you do nothing or you do everything at the right capacity, and figuring that out, what that is.
So the calendar, I want to ask you about the calendar, because I feel like part of being able to do what we have to do at a given time is having a very good system to support it. Like in terms of organization.
Yeah.
What's yours? How do you manage your time? Because you mentioned calendar a few times. How do you manage all of that?
I do calendar and alarms a lot. So I do a lot of if it's something like I need to remember to do this, I will set an alarm, because I won't remember a lot of things. Everything goes on a calendar. My calendar is everybody has their own style. Mine's a little all over the place, because and it's all different colors. So I have one color that has birthdays, and I have one color that
is it physical calendar or digital?
Oh, Google Calendar.
Oh, Google Calendar.
Yeah,
okay.
no, and I'm an Android person, so
okay.
It's all Google Calendar, and it's all physical calendar to me doesn't work, because I'm always changing it.
Yeah.
And then and then it becomes a mess. So it has to be a Google Calendar, and I have the things on. For example, we're meeting here at 9, so that's on my calendar at 9. But on the very top, it has what I'm doing. It's the podcast, because I'm like, oh, okay. So if I look at my day throughout, I know that's the day I'm doing it. And then when I need to drill down the time, then I go to the other, but I barely look at the other stuff. Yeah. It's more of a what's up there. And it's the little things I have to do go in a certain color, events go in a different color, my kids' schedule go in a different color. birthdays go in a different color, trips go in a different color, and it's all there. So if you ask me about a day, I can look at it and be like, okay, I know what I have going on, what time it is.
Yeah.
But I write everything down.
Erika, any final advice? And I want you to picture a woman that maybe just had kids right now, that has always been very successful, that right now is struggling with finding her identity because for the first time she's like, I cannot do it all, and I suck as a woman. Like this is the mindset that this person has right now. What would you say to them as a final message?
Oh, I would say be kind to yourself. And it's easier said than done, but be kind to yourself. You just had a baby. That means that like you grew an entire human and you went through the very traumatic experience of giving birth. Because I don't care who you talk to, it is not magical. It is traumatic, however you do it. It's very hard on women. Not enough people talk about it. It is incredibly difficult. So like you did that. And the whole idea of like, then you're probably overwhelmed because like I have to keep these people alive. Like who trusted me with that? Other people have done it and you can do it too. But like be kind to yourself. When you're getting frustrated, be like, you pause, breathe, and be kind to yourself. That's the best you can do. And the more, if that's what you're trying to achieve, you start feeling better and better. And then you start balancing things a little better too, and makes life a little bit easier.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. This was fun.
Yay.